Sorry about that. I didn't realize my camera had gotten so crooked. There we go. Oh. Over. Okay, there it's centered. Sorry about that. I'd usually have this set up, but I didn't realize I must have bumped the camera. Alright, so we are going to make a little reporter rat today. He did win the polls. I checked over all the vote count on Thursday. I saw someone gave the turtle a pity vote, which made me happy because that poor little turtle was getting no votes whatsoever. And even though he wasn't my favorite either, I was just like, dang it, I must have done a horrible job with that design. But as you can see, I'm not wearing gloves today. I do apologize. My hands are all bruised up. The gloves that I wear for the clay part are a little bit tighter than the other ones. They look about the same, but I didn't want them. The back of my hands are still pretty tender from the medical stuff that I had done last week. They bruised me up real bad with the IVs. So no gloves today. I apologize. You will have to deal with my rather weird, ugly looking scarred up hands. I usually try to cover them, but I didn't feel like it today with the bruising. So we're going to be working on our little rat today. I already chose the eyeballs. I figured we'd give him some really bright blue eyes because I like those. And I did something else, so we're going to have a little experiment today. I had gone and bought a lot more of Fimo Soft, which used to be my favorite brand of clay to work with. It's this stuff. Normally what I've been using is Primo Sculpey. Primo Sculpey looks like this. It's very, it's the darker pink. It's very dense. It's not as soft. Fimo Soft is much easier to work with, but it's kind of like the consistency of slightly cold, what's the word I'm looking for? Like slightly closed, like soft spreadable cheese. A little bit harder than that, but close to it. So it's really soft. So what I did was I mixed the two types of clay together. We're going to see how this works for sculpting. I may have mixed it a little too soft. I think I should add more of the Sculpey in future. But we're going to see how this goes. It will crack and bend a lot less, but it also takes impressions and small details get smashed easier. So that's kind of the trade-off between soft and harder clays. But we're going to see how the mixed clays do together, and then I'll see if I can, because Fimo is so much more expensive, I'm going to see if I can work out a method of mixing the two. But this will be like our test run for that. Sorry. So I've already started our little rat. I got our base here done out of aluminum foil. I've said this in many videos before, but if you're watching this video, it's like maybe the first one you've seen of mine. You always want to start with a base like this because clay does not cure very well when it's a thick chunk. You typically don't want it to be thicker than like an inch or something like that. Probably like half an inch, to be honest. Anything thicker than this, it tends to not cure very well in the oven because these are polymer oven baked clays. And it will crack and break and just cause a lot of issues for you. So we're going to start covering our little guy here. Now I am going to see if I can make a little paper notebook for him. I did include that on the design and I rather liked it. So I'm going to see if I can get some, unbend, I'm thinking unbending a paper clip might work. And then cutting some small pages with lining through it. So we're going to see if we can do that next time. I'll see if I can have it either ready or if I can do it on video. I will if I can. If not, I might do it in between the videos and then add it to the final edit. But also, if you're watching this, be thinking of a name. So the rule is for these little guys that their names have to alliterate. So his name has to start with an R. But I will be posting a video asking for name suggestions for this character once we finish sculpting him. But yeah, I saw a lot of people said that he had like the most, some of my friends who I talked to about it later, and somebody commented, I believe on Instagram, that he had like a story to tell her, and he seemed more detailed, I guess, more interesting than the others. And I agree. I don't really know why. I guess I just somehow when I drew him, I gave him a little more character. I was actually really fond of my little Hitman hair guy, which I saw YouTube liked him okay as well. But the rat definitely won on TikTok. The only issue was TikTok was folding comments, and I guess the autofilter thought that a rat was a bad word or something, because it kept autofiltering the comments, and I had to unfold the comments. I turned the autofilter off, but you still have to unfilter the comments to be able to see them. Because I literally would have missed like half the votes if I hadn't caught that. So I was a little annoyed. I understand the idea of filtering, but like I wish they gave me, as the creator, more control over what comments were being filtered. Because sometimes like good engagement and good comments are getting hidden, and I have no clue why. But like stupid comments that have no relevancy whatsoever are getting shown. So I don't understand TikTok's auto filtering folding stuff. It makes no sense to me. I'm a little disappointed with the direction the platform's going. So hopefully they will fix that, or at least give the creators more control over what comments get folded and unfolded. Because I don't mind if they have an auto thing, as long as they give me control to undo or correct any mistakes it might make. But yes, you can see it if you go to TikTok and unfold the comments. You can see there's like 4 or 5 votes for the rat that got hidden. Yeah, this clay it's so much easier to work with. It was so much easier to condition as well. It's easier to smooth out. It does take the texture of my hand a little too easily, but there are ways around that. So yeah, I'm thinking the only issue is it's way too close in color to my background. I should probably get a red background, because it's rare that I paint things solid red, and that would maybe a red or a light brown. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the colors I don't use very commonly. I might need a different background, just because it would make these easier to visualize against the matte. I really like having my little bear, because it tells me where to keep the sculpture that I'm working on. Okay. And I'm not sure if we're going to give him shoes or if I'm just going to have his little feet sticking out. I kind of want to give him shoes because I haven't done any shoes in a long time. I will try to sculpt the microphone. I thought about 3D printing it. If it doesn't go well, then we'll try 3D printing it. But I think I can sculpt the microphone pretty well. The notepad, like I said, we're going to try to make a real one for that. I forgot to get all my tools out. Sorry. Arm in front of the camera. Man, my very thin noodle arms. Alright. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm also going to be doing, I think I've mentioned it before, but I am going to be doing some more, I'm going to be doing some more, hopefully, combination of writing and art pieces. I also have another SAP I'm going to do for fun. That one I might do off camera and just do the video on my own and then post it. I don't know that I'll have time to do a live video for it, but I need to work on more content creation stuff if I want my channel to actually go anywhere. It's somewhat difficult because I work full time and it can be a little difficult to set aside time to do this. Either that or I might do like guerrilla live streams just so that I have more live stream comment because it basically just records stuff for me even if nobody's here. It, you know, records stuff for me that people can glance at later, gives me more content, and then I can turn it into a video, a short video that's a little more accessible for most people. I have thought about sculpting characters from books because I am a big fan of the Redwall series. I love Redwall so much. All of Brian Jake's books and audiobook, they're so good. That's part of why I love little characters like these so much. I love little anthropomorphic animal characters. It's very nostalgic for me. I also used to, as a little kid, I used to love, I mean, I still love Winnie the Pooh, and I loved all the little stuffed animal characters too. So a lot of my things that I love as an adult definitely started when I was very little. I mean, Redwall was a little older. I think I was preteen to teen when I started reading those. They're very good. I recommend them to adults as well. They're really fun reads. Very good adventure fantasy stories. They're very sweet and cute too. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can see from the video, but this is so much easier to blend together than the unmixed Sculpey clay. The Fimo by itself might be a little soft because during the summer it gets, you know, cream cheese. It's the consistency of like a really firm cream cheese. That's the word I was looking for earlier. So it's a little soft, not quite that soft, but close to it. Like if you were to put it in the fridge or the freezer for a little bit, that kind of consistency. But it does smooth out much better than the Sculpey by itself. So yeah, I think I'm going to start doing a mixed clay for all of these. I think that'll definitely heighten the quality of my sculpts. For most people, I would say the Sculpey is probably the right consistency, but my hands get very tired, so I was getting exhausted trying to condition all the clay through my little clay press. Since I can't use the automated one, since that breaks like within 20 minutes. But this was much easier to condition after I added some of the Fimo Soft to it. I do just wish that Fimo was a little cheaper and cheaper shipping. Because it's definitely a superior brand of clay. Sculpey's good. I think Sculpey's like the more accessible, easier to acquire, more financially accessible for everyone. It's a good starter. But I think the other brands I've tried Kato. Kato is supposed to be a professional clay, but I had issues with like surface cracking and stuff with Kato. It also smells like plastic, which is fine, but it makes your kitchen smell horrible. But it's much firmer, and it is definitely used for doll making, I believe, which it's probably perfect for that. I did make some little characters ages ago. I am going to redo some of my little childhood figurine characters that I made when I was like a teen and younger. I think that'll be fun. I have a little sleeping fairy boy that I made ages ago as a kid. So I'm going to see if I can revisit that and maybe make him look better now that I've done this a little longer and I'm a lot older. So oops. This isn't quite centered. It needs to be up here. That's still not centered. My camera really got all moved around. I don't even know how I did that, and I wasn't really messing with it. The other thing I did change was I got a new program for the audio stuff. I did some test recordings, and it sounded much better to me. But I started using Logitech's Blue Voice, which is what is supposed to be used with my microphone, since it's a Blue Yeti microphone. And hopefully that has greatly improved stuff instead of me trying to mess around with OBS filters that I don't understand. I checked out some of the presets, and as always I have to turn the noise gate considerably lower than what they suggest, because it always cuts my voice out because I am way too soft-spoken. But after I tweaked a few things, I think it sounds pretty good. We'll see. I always say this and then I listen to the video and I'm like, nope, that made it worse. So this is a test run of a lot of things. Test run for the clay, test run for the new audio settings and programs. I really do want to make sure that it sounds good, because I know one of the biggest things that'll make me stop watching a video is if it doesn't sound very good or pleasant to listen to. Even if I love what they're doing, you know, so I'm trying to make sure there's nothing easily fixable about my videos that could make them more interesting to people and more pleasant and enjoyable. And having bad audio is one of the things that definitely would turn me away, so trying to improve that. And it's been decent, I know, for the past several months after I fixed a lot of stuff, but hopefully this will work better and make it sound better. Because I listen to a lot of like professional streamers and voice and ASMR people, and you can tell when people know what they're doing and when they're not, when they don't, or when they at least have good settings and stuff. So trying to at least get it to a normal, acceptable level of quality. Alright, let me pull up a reference photo of a rat. I know what their heads kind of look like, but I always Yeah, okay, so a little bit of a bulge at the tip where like their cheeks would be. Here. A little bit thinner under the chin. Get the shape correct. And then the head is pretty angular, although I think we want a little bit of a ridge or a ridge for the brow up here, just to make him more expressive. And then the eyes have to be here and here. Okay, the eyes here and here. I'll add a little more clay to the underside here because that's not quite right. Okay. The eyes are a little oily from the clay. I will clean that up later. Never fear. I had to, my other clay is so dried out, I had to use oil to rehydrate, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to make it conditioned so that it was functioning and I could actually work with it. So there's a little bit of oil in this mat right now. And I got it on the eyes by mistake. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna do an eyelid on top here. And then we'll do the second eyelid. I also don't really know what color he's going to be. I was kind of thinking brown, but he really could be any color. I might also ask what type of color we want to make him when I ask for the name. So that might be a fun thing for you guys to help me decide. All right, so we're getting the face shape there. Okay. I am pulling this thing all around for some reason. I don't know why. All right. Oh, I think we're back. Are we back? Yes, okay, everything's back. I don't know. Internet must be acting weird today. There we go. Okay. Hopefully it does not do that again. Sometimes it does that. I notice when I'm doing videos, I think later than usual, it does that. I don't know if it's just the timing or something. It's definitely my I think it's my internet most of the time. But it's weird because my other devices didn't disconnect, so I have no clue. It's strange. I don't understand the internet. Dropped a piece of clay. I will get it later. I won't. I'll forget that it's there. But it's fine. Okay. So we were going to do bottom eyelids. That's where we were. We were doing bottom eyelids for the head. Okay. There we go. We got his eyes. He should be a little rounder, so. Do a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right. Let me put some clay on this tail so it'll stop moving around. I added a little bit when the connection went down, but let's add a little more. Just want to keep it from wiggling as much as it is because it's getting annoying. Okay. It's not enough to keep it stable. We need to do his shoes real quick so that he will stand up. Now, let me think. Thinking like men's dress shoes would be nice. Because they are... Let me see here. Okay. Get another lump of clay that's about the same size. A bit too much. There we go. So, back like this. Roughly. Let's see. We're like... kind of like that. Okay, I'll just get the rough shape correct because we'll have to work on it individually in more detail in a little bit. But let's get the rough shape correct. Okay. And we can attach these here and here. I'll go ahead and attach the clay to the shoes because we will add the cuffs of the pants later. So yeah, we'll add the cuffs for the pants later, but for now we just need to stabilize him so that he will stand on his own so that I can work on him a little more easily. And then finish covering the tail. Okay, there we go. Now he's stable enough that he can stand on his own very well. And that's the main thing I needed there. All right, so now we're going to work on the face. Try to get the head done. Basically, I move my way down when I work on details. Down and then outward with like hands last. So we'll start with, let me go back to my little photo of a rat. Okay. Start with the nose here. I gotta look at the nose. The nose is like... it's almost like two little... beads like this. Kind of. And then... okay, it's like two little dots and then a pretty defined little ridge here. All right, and then okay, let me get another photo of a rat's nose. Yeah, because then they come down to here. Then the mouth is about here, and I need to add some more clay to right here to kind of puff up the little, I guess, cheek part under the nose. And the mouth can be like that. Okay, and then his mouth should be right here and here. Okay. Here we got the front of his face. Here. All right, now we need to add his ears. All right. Divide this in half. I am really dragging this piece around. I need to stabilize it, keep it from moving. Okay. We got 2 of these. Do that there. Are these quite the same size? Not quite. Make this one a little bigger. Okay. So we're gonna put ears about there. And then the other one about right there. Okay. Attach. Oop. My tool came apart. Okay. There we go. Okay, let me add a little strip of clay behind each ear just to help attach it. This clay is so soft that I think this is actually an easier method of doing this. Oops, I didn't mean to smash his eyeball. Yeah. Okay. We'll take this clay, put it behind this ear. All right. And then I gave him a notch out of one ear, if I remember correctly, and I liked that. Yes, I gave him a notch out of this ear. There's my knife. Okay. All right. We got the basic head shape down. We will have to add fur patterns later, but that is a thing for later. All right. Now we are going to do the front of the shirt. That's the next part, the collar, and then, oh wait, I need a long piece for this. Okay. That is too long and too wide. Okay. Let's curve this a bit. All right. Okay. We got one part of the collar done. I'm going to do the other side. Okay. We gotta blend this a little bit. There we go. We got the collar partially done. And let's see. We start adding buttons. This button's actually buttoned, so this one's an empty buttonhole. Okay. So this one should actually have the fabric pulling a little around it. Okay. Oh, smaller button. Smaller button on his shirt. Okay. Button. Button. I need this. Yeah, this is still a little too big. Okay, and then we're gonna put little holes on the buttons. Okay. Yeah, I'm sitting here as I'm doing this and I'm beginning to think, I think there's actually a thing about like men's clothing buttons on one side and women's is on the other. But I don't remember which is which. So this may or may not be accurate for men's clothing. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I feel like that was a thing. Okay, we need one more button spot right here. Buttons. We also need to give him a pocket. And then as soon as the shirt is in good condition, we will do the sleeves. And then we'll work on the pants after that. Although I might want to do the belts buckle part. I might have to do that. Okay. Okay. There we go. All right. We got his pocket and his part of his shirt done. Okay. Let me think here. I think it's going to be easiest to do the belt. Let's see. Okay. It'll be easiest to do the belts. And then we'll start doing the little hands hooks around it. That should be easier. Let's do it this way. So this piece needs to get to about here. And then we can have, I think it needs to be a little higher. Don't stick. A little higher, yeah. Needs to be there. Okay. Okay. Here and then across like so. Okay, and then we can do a belt buckle. No, let's do more traditional belt buckle. Hold on. Okay, which way does it go? Like this? Yes, like this. And then needs to be a hole right here that this piece comes out of. Okay. And let's see. Belt is probably gonna have. There we go. Here we got the front of his belt. Oh, it looks like we need another button. There we go. Okay. There we go. And we got his buttons on his shirt and his belt. Now we gotta do all the little belt loops on the pants. And then I think we'll work on the arms for a little bit. Or we could do the arms last. Biggest thing is they had to be done after the shirt front because of the fact they would be in the way if I did them in any other order. So. Okay, let me see. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me get a nice long strip here to work with. All right. We'll do it like this length and we'll make a bunch of these. Okay. Oh, and I can see another issue here. I'm going to have to do the top line of the pants. I need to do that all the way around before I go any further and make this harder on myself. Okay. There we go. We got the top of the pants there. I do think we might need to add some clothing folds. That might be interesting. Make it look a little more realistic. Okay, so we'll do one on the side here for these. One on the side here over here. And then probably two in the back. That seems about right. I don't feel like getting a pair of pants out to see how many belt loops they have. But this seems roughly accurate enough that it'll work. Okay. Okay, there we go. We got his belt loops on his pants. Okay. Yeah, I think I could do some fabric. Like, hold on, let me. Okay. So it looks like a common thing is to have some fabric pulling here. So let's see if we can recreate that a little bit. And then let's do some fabric pulling over here near the buttons. There we go. This one's smaller. This is about the right size to do this. Okay. Let's see, dress shirt from the back. I'm pulling up reference photos as I'm doing this. So it looks like, let's see, we could do the seam across here, a little bit of a seam. Do that real quick. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then there's usually that little piece in the middle right here. That. Okay. And then it pulls outward, usually a bit like that, and then here a bit, and then we'll smooth it down. Okay. I've always assumed this little back piece on shirts was like so you could move easier. Because I know a lot of the women's shirts that I have, it's difficult to like move your shoulders, but that's because this up here doesn't have any give. But like the back piece does. So I always wonder if that's why they do that. I assume there's a name for it, but I don't know much about clothing to be able to identify what that piece is. But I know most dress shirts have something like it. Okay. Okay. Oops, I lost a button. Did not mean to lose a button. Okay. And then let's do a little bit of a outward puff for the shirt here. It's like right there. So we will blend it in. Okay. So we've gotten some wrinkles in his shirt. And we got the shirt in the back. Now we have to do the arms. Okay. Alright, how did I do his sleeves? Okay, I did like standard cuffs. Okay. The nice thing about cuffs on clothing is that you can attach the hands directly to like sleeves or the shoes directly to the pants, and then you add the cuffs afterward, and it makes it so much easier. We're making a lot of good progress here. Pretty good. Alright. He's taken us a little longer. He's going to be one of the slightly more in-depth sculptures, but I'm going to try to keep him at 2 hours if possible. I've been doing pretty good at keeping most of these around 2 hours worth of sculpting. Alright, so we are going to have to do some sleeves. Some sleeve-like folds and stuff, but Alright, so for this, we're just going to need to do his hand upward and outward because we're going to add the notepad later. So his fingers just need to look decently okay. And then we'll add the cuff. The shirt cuff, that is. Okay. All right, so we're gonna have his hand like this. And then fur on the back of his hand. I'm gonna kind of put those fingers together a little bit. And then not a lot of his hand will necessarily be visible. But that's okay. Because it's gonna have like the notepad hooked over. I'm gonna try to get his thumb wrapped around it, but we'll see how that works out. Alright, we'll do this, and then we'll just need to add the cuff and smooth out the sleeves here on the arm. Okay, so we got one hand there. Obviously the sleeves still need a ton of work, but we'll get there. I just wanted to go ahead and get the hand on there. Oops. Okay. 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 Now let's see. We got to do the other hand, but this is the hand with the microphone. That's about right. Okay. Hand with microphone. I'm going to take the firmer clay here for this. We can't forget about the pencil in his ear because I did really like that detail. That was cool. Okay. Let's look up reporter microphone real quick. Then we're almost done because we just got to do the sleeves on the arms and then we got to work on the pants and the shoes. And then the fur. Okay. Let's see. They're pretty big sometimes. Okay. Let's see. I want to make this a little bigger. Because we're going to have to do the box on it. Actually, let me stick it with a toothpick just to keep it stable. Okay. Okay, then we'll do a quick little band around the mic part here. Then we'll do the box. The news label box. All right, let me cut a piece of clay here. Okay. We're gonna make the little box for the microphone and then we'll make the hand wrapped around it. Do this and this and this, and then we'll stab a hole in the middle and in the middle. Okay. Okay, we're gonna make this skinnier. Okay. Oops. Here we go. Okay. Okay. That's good enough for a microphone. Now we just gotta make a hand to hold it. Okay, so then we'll put this like so. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that because that is a little unstable. That wrist is a little unstable. Okay. Okay, so now we have the microphone. All right. All right, what else do we need? Oh, we should do the sleeves, little crevices on the sleeves. Okay. And now that we've done that, we need to do the cuffs real quick. Okay. The shirt cuffs. It's a bit too wide for shirt cuffs. Okay. Okay, let me look quickly at a picture of shirt sleeve cuffs. Because they usually there's usually a seam there and then there's a little button right about there. A little cuff link. Okay. So we'll do that. And do the same thing here, which this will help stabilize this hand a bit. Cuff link. Okay. Okay, so we've made progress. Finally, we gotta do the tail, which I already covered, but it's a bit lumpy. So we'll smooth that out a little bit. We're gonna do the pockets. Okay. So let's start with the tail. Oh, I apologize, I can't pick him up as much now because the more detail we have on him, the less I want to pick him up because that will smash it out way too quickly. Okay. So we're just smoothing the tail out a little bit. Okay, let me look at a rat's tail real quick. Okay, so they do have like ridges all the way around. They tend to be a little hairy up here. And then they have ridges all the way around. So, mm, 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 mm. Doing little ridges all the way around. Mm. Like this. Okay, now we have all the lines on the tail. Okay, next I want to do, let's see. Let's see, we need the seam on the pants. That should be right about here. Oh no, it needs to be shorter. It needs to come up to there. Okay. And then we need the seam It goes the rest of the way back, which that one can be much thinner. And it'll just go back to where the tail is. Clothing seam. And then I need to do, I guess if you had a tail, you would probably, you'd probably have like a seam around the tail where it comes out from the pants. This is one of those questions I always wish I knew some cosplayers for, because like, how do you do pants with tail? What do you need it to look like? Because I feel like in real life that would be super inconvenient. Okay. Alright, so we're going to do a seam around the tail for the pants, because that's what makes sense to me. And then I'll try to do side pockets, maybe for the pants. Okay. That's one of the things with art is it makes you come up with the weirdest questions. Like if you had a tail, how would the pants be designed to accommodate it? Or would you just always wear skirts or I don't know. Important questions. In this case, I'm arguing for a seam specifically for the tail. And that's how we're gonna do this. Looks a little strange, but we'll make it work. Alright. Okay. Here we go. I'm arguing for seam for the tail. That's how we're doing this. Because I don't know how else to make that work. Alright, now we're going to do back pockets, which are going to be a little impeded because of the tail. That back pocket there. And men's back pockets typically are pretty, or at least on dress pants, they're usually just lines. That's how dress pants pockets, to my knowledge, always look. They look kind of like this. So like the bottom part here should be blended in, but there's no like visible pocket sewn on the outside. It's all inside. I don't know the technical terms, but it's how they look. And then the side pockets are more visible. I think one of the weirder questions that Art made me ask was, do aliens know what a Phillips head screwdriver is? Because I was designing screws and I was like, should they be flathead? Should they be something? When I was doing the little alien cryptid. always raise the question of how sci-fi artists and stuff deal with technology that is developed supposedly separate from Earth. Because if it's separate from Earth, why is it so similar in appearance? Okay. All right. We got our back pockets on there. That's on there. Okay. Oh, we're losing little details there. I don't want to do that. I'll lose that. Okay. We got to do the side pockets, then the cuffs, and then we'll do the front of the shoes, and then we'll just do some fur patterns, and we should be done. Okay, so side pockets, same principle, but curved. I should hold them by the head, because the head's pretty smooth, so I can't. Just don't touch the eyes. Okay. Okay, so the seam needs to come down about here. The pant seam. And then we can add some details. Okay, so seam there, seam, same thing here. Okay, now that we have that, we got to do the pocket lines. And we'll do it to the seam. Come on, stay on there. Here we go. Okay, that's where that pocket's gonna go. Then we gotta do this pocket. Oh, we already have this. From here about there. A little bit further over here. A bit shorter. And there. Okay, that's better. Alright, and then we will smooth this end of the pocket. And we got that pocket, and then now we gotta smooth this pocket. Okay, and then let's do the fabric creases here for walking, because your hands always crease there. They tend to crease here for me around the cuff and then the knee, just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to do the cuffs for the pants real quick, and then we just got to finish the front of the shoes. Oh, and his pencil. I'm going to go ahead and do his pencil before I forget. because I'm going to forget. Okay, pencil's got to be thinner. But not that long. Okay. Okay, that's the right length, but we got to do a couple more details. There we go. Little pencil. I'm going to put it right on the ear. There. And it's going to stay. I hope. Alright, so that's his pencil behind his ear. Alright, you can see making a lot of progress. We're almost done. Alright, pants cuffs. That is what we have to do next. Then the front of the shoes. Because I am going to make sure the pants cuffs come low enough that I don't have to do the back of the shoes because I'm lazy. And also the back of shoes is hard sometimes. And then we're going to do our fur patterns. I'm trying to smooth up a couple things here. But we're almost done. Alright, so we're going to cut this. We're going to make this a little thinner. A little thinner. There we go. And then we're going to roll it out mostly flat. Oh, I have dragged this thing again. Okay. I don't know why I cannot keep this on its spot today. I started with the camera all out of whack, and then... Alright. Funny thing is, I don't remember moving everything around, but I must have. Okay. We will cut this in half. Like so. And then we'll wrap. Let's do the cuff near the seam like this. There we go. Okay, there is the cuff. One pant leg. Now we're going to do this one. Let me do something here real quick. I didn't catch that this needed to be fixed. All right, so we have the pants cuffs now. Okay, now I gotta pull up the shoe references so that I can see how I need to do the shoes. I already know one thing I need to do. Yeah, we're a little over 2 hours. Not bad. Dress shoes. Yes. Okay. Okay. First things first. Actually, where is... Okay. Okay. All right. I did just the bottom heels of the shoes a little bit. And then I have to see here. I messed up our tail, so I gotta fix that a little. All right. How do I wish to do this. So it looks like this. Okay. Okay, so there's that. Then we have the down the middle. Seam down the middle, and then we need to do the laces. A couple of laces back and forth. Okay. Okay, let me just put that there. Okay, so I think we're good. We just have to do the fur on our little rat. Not a ton, mostly on his head. Where's my tool? Yes. This makes it go faster. I don't think there's anything else we need to do other than I need to make the notebook at some point, but I can't really can't do that just yet. I'm gonna have to find the best way to do that. Okay. All right, we're almost done. A little bit more around the top of the tail here. Okay. All right. So our little rat reporter is complete with microphone and soon to be notepad. Is a little thing on his ear. Like so. We did his shoes. Let's see if I can pop this over here. I did a lot of detail on this one, more than I usually do. Here we go. Kind of see him a little better. But, yeah. Gave him dress shoes. Alright. If you watched this video, I greatly appreciate it. If you have other things you'd like to see me sculpt, please let me know in the comments. I do take those to heart. I'm currently working on another SCP, and I have one that somebody suggested in the comments on one of my videos that I will be doing soon. Hopefully it's the train one. I just had to get some stuff for it. But I have that one and another one I want to do soon. Mythology, creatures that you like, fan art that you think I might be aware of. I'm a video game nerd, and I like a lot of shows and stuff. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I will certainly add them to my list. And for the time being, keep an eye out for a video of this little guy where we'll be naming him. He needs a name that starts with the letter R to go with Reporter Rat, because I love alliteration. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely night or morning, whatever time it is there for you.